Hey you guys, Dismal here, coming at you with another deck profile. This time it's another one of those that I built a while ago that's for sale or trade. This one today is going to be Gravekeepers. This is just kind of a rough outline for Gravekeepers, kind of a good starter. I have a whole lot of it because when the deck came out, structure deck, I bought a whole bunch of the structure decks. So this is the extra that I'm going to include. It's not very much, it's only 2, but it's a good start. So we'll go ahead and bust into it. I'm only using a little bit of the new support in it because Gravekeepers is such a control-based deck. You really kind of just want to use the control aspects of it. But, you know, I splash a couple things in here. A little techiness, but it's still fun. So you start off, obviously, excuse me, with 3 Gravekeeper Spies. Your main searcher, when it gets flipped face up, it's 2,000, plus if you have the field spell on the field, it's 2,500 defense. She's just too good. Gets you ready for your plays. You start off with 3 of her, then you use 3 Gravekeeper's guards. They're pretty good flip effects. You get to bounce a monster your opponent controls back to the hand, and he's a 1900 defense, 24 if you have the field, so he's pretty hard to get over. Using 3 Gravekeeper's assailants. These are all spellcasters, by the way, so you can use them for specific like perform mages. You could splash them in here if you have them. I just made this rough, but this would be a great deck for the perform mages, aside from the Necro Valley aspect. But anyways, this Gravekeeper's Assailant, 2000 beater in attack or defense when you have the field spell, and also when it attacks you can change the battle position of your opponent's monster. So that makes getting over stuff a little bit easier. Certain things, big beat sticks, don't have very much defense. 3 Gravekeeper's Chief because he's also helps for your spamming, because when you tribute him, you get to special summon a Gravekeeper's monster. So you can normal summon him and special summon something out from your grave, like Assailant or something, and get your combos going. That way you got some beaters on the field. And, you know, he's pretty cool, pretty nice. Using 1 Gravekeeper's Visionary just because he gets to be pretty beefy with all your Gravekeepers in the graveyard. And if he's face up on the field, will be destroyed, you can get rid of one of your Gravekeepers in your hand instead, so he can stick around too. The last card, one of the last few Gravekeepers, is Gravekeeper's Spear Soldier. He does piercing, and, you know, 1500, 2000 if you got the field spell, so he gets to be pretty annoying. I put 1 Gravekeeper's Cannon Holder in here for that little bit of effect burn damage, because this deck can do a lot of damage, and, you know, when you get them pretty low, you can just use this effect and tribute a whole bunch of Gravekeepers and do damage. I like it. This last one is Gravekeeper's Ambusher. It's one of the new ones, and when it gets flipped face up, you can target a card in your opponent's graveyard, put it on the bottom of their deck, and if it's sent from the field to the graveyard after being flipped face up, you can get a Necro Valley from your graveyard back to your hand. And it cannot be affected by Necro Valley. Its effect is not affected by Necro Valley, so that's pretty good. That was the last of the Gravekeepers. Now on to the tech cards. I'm using 1 Gigabyte in it because it helps with consistency, especially if you're going for like rank 4 plays. You know, any Gravekeeper plus Gigabyte is a rank 4. It's a pretty nice card. Again, same reason. Summoner Monk, you get a dead card in your hand, discard it. Like a whole bunch of the spells in here. If you don't need it, discard it, and then you get another level 4 for rank 4. Pretty good. Put 2 Necro Valley in here because you do kind of need your graveyard a little bit, and some of your stuff does get affected by it, but it's not really to the point where it hurts you. It hurts your opponent more. They have to really play around it. 1 Royal Tribute. While you've got Necro Valley on the field, you get to rip cards from your opponent's hand, all their monsters. So just make sure you don't have monsters in your hand when you use it. It is a little bit play weird. You can see that on the camera, I hope. So just letting you know. I put 2 soul exchanges in here because you have 4 monsters in here that require tributes, so why not use your opponent's monsters to your advantage? Just saying. 1 solidarity, because most of the time you only have one monster in here that is not a spellcaster, so you can get your monsters even beefier with solidarity. Especially that spear soldier piercing, pretty nice. 3 MSTs to protect your back row and such. This deck kind of needs its back row, and you know, this is your control based deck. This is your I say no to everything deck. It's pretty nice. 1 Gravekeeper stale, because it gets your Gravekeepers back to your hand, recycles them, and it's not affected by Necro Valley. 1 Swords of Revealing Light, set up your plays, set up your Gravekeeper's Searcher, your first one, Spy. 1 Enemy Controller, because of, again, the control aspect. You know, you say when your opponent can attack, you put their monsters in the position you want them in, and you deal damage. 2 Magic Cylinders, nobody really expects it. Your opponent's pushing for a lot of damage, you make them take it instead if they don't have a contingency plan. 1 Compulsory, again, it just helps with bouncing stuff back. It's pretty annoying to your opponent, they don't like it. I love it. 1 Dark Illusion, you have a lot of dark monsters in here, so when they activate a spell or trap card that targets your dark monster, you just negate it and destroy it. 1 Damage Gate, because when you take battle damage, sometimes you're going to, you get to target a monster in your graveyard with attack less than or equal to the amount that you took. So if your opponent's hitting you direct, you're going to plus from it at some point. Zing Zen Hu, this card lets you make 2 of your opponent's spell and trap zones inactive. Pretty good, especially because, again, this is the control. Magic Jammer, discard a card and negate a spell card and destroy it. Trap Jammer, only activate it when your opponent activates a trap card during the battle phase. Negate the activation of the trap and destroy it. Divine Wrath, discard a card from your hand, negate the activation of an effect monster, and destroy that monster. Again, protecting your stuff. Tyrant's Tirade, it's a continuous trap. You tribute 2 monsters. Effects of effect monsters that activate in the hand or in the field cannot be activated. This says no to your opponent. So once you've established a good field with monsters that are 2,000 beaters, 2,500 beaters that are doing damage, you set this up, your opponent can't do anything. They can't activate effects in their graveyard, in their hand, on their field. You have stuff to stop their spells. You have stuff to stop their traps. This deck is mean and ferocious. And for the extra deck, it's King of the Feral Imps, rank 4, so you can search out your Gigabyte, and 1 Shark Fortress. If your opponent's going like, oh, skill drain, whatever, then you can get your 2 captains out and make Shark Fortress. It's just kind of in there in the event that you can make it. King of the Feral Imps is kind of necessary, but I'm including both of them anyway. This is just 1 for sale. I would sell this for 20 cash or 20 trade, either one. It doesn't matter. I'm going to post 2 more deck profiles, definitely. I have a 3rd one next that I could do. A 4th one, actually, that I could do, but I have to finish the deck off. So maybe tonight, if latest, maybe tomorrow or the next day. Thanks for watching, and if you're interested, comment, and we'll be able to work something out, I'm sure. And as always, happy duels.